In academia, we have courses in the religious beliefs of other nations. But among that, Buddhism is a major set of human phenomena, historical phenomena, and social phenomena, which involves many people's beliefs, many people's activities, many people's theories and institutions that they built and so forth in many different countries, texts which were translated into many different languages with greater and lesser degrees of accuracy and success, and also the histories of individuals who found great benefit in practicing the Buddhist educational method of their ethics and their mind and their intellect. Studying all of that is sort of what academic study of Buddhism does, and that's very, very valuable. And for some, it could be an entry after studying academically where they'd want to be a Buddhist. But in academia, fortunately, one of the great things about liberal academics in the world is that there is no preferred dogma under which people investigate things. And so, although at least in theory. In practice, of course, teachers do bring their prejudices. And I would say that the secular prejudice that you find, which is the dominant motif underlying American university campuses, and I think to a certain extent European ones and modern Asian ones as well, is that secularism is sort of reality. And that's not presented as if it were a theory, that's presented as if it were a fact. And in that sense, it is kind of religious. In other words, you just have to accept it, that only matter exists. Mind is some sort of old-fashioned superstition, a spirit, forget about it. That's an ancient religious fanatic thing with no evidence to back it up and so on. I'm afraid that is actually the dogma of our academies, in which the natural scientists are something like the high priest. The social scientists are wannabe high priests, but they are good in helping us study the nature of human behavior and social behavior. And they're wonderful traditions, actually, and disciplines. But there's a little bit closed-mindedness about it because of the dogma of materialism that rules on the campuses, which is a good actually response to the former kind of Christian university or Buddhist university or Jewish university, Shiva type of place, where you have a dogma of some religious belief system. So but this unfortunately has become a new dogma of a materialistic belief system. And in a way that then prejudices people. So for example, in philosophy departments in America, you don't get to study Buddhism in a philosophy department, really. You have to study it in a religious studies department where it's sort of a human phenomenon. And there it's dominated by the idea that the founding principle of Buddhism, which is that it's possible for the human being to achieve a higher type of consciousness, a Buddha consciousness, awakened consciousness, an enlightened consciousness. And that kind of consciousness sees deeper, sees better, more accurately, more precisely in the nature of reality than ordinary misknowing consciousness. And so Buddhist studies kind of a little bit politely tiptoes around that idea, which is at the foundation of Buddhism, but basically is based on a disbelief in that belief. But nevertheless, even under that, to learn about it is still useful. To learn that people believed this, they did that, they meditate the other way, they had this and that institution, they had this and that ethical theory, they had this and that philosophical theory, is very valuable anyway.